Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Summit presentation of the iLeague Season 3 Dota 2 Chinese Qualifier. Here in the group stage, we have this match between CDEC Gaming and Team Braveheart. It is the first game of this two-game series, and we're going to be looking at them both competing here in the group stage. Here in 6.84, this is the second day of 6.84 Chinese Dota, and it's a very jam-packed one. We have 8 games in total today. We just saw 2 of them. It was Energy Pacemaker going up against eHome, and it actually turned out to be an upset. And I think you guys should be expecting a few more upsets than usual these days, because the new patch has kind of thrown a lot of the higher tier teams off their game. So don't expect anything. Don't make any assumptions here. We're going to be seeing a pretty interesting matchup, though, and I'm pretty excited about it. CDEC versus Braveheart, they may be tier 2s, but they are already showing, just from this draft alone, that they are starting to bring up the news tracks, especially Braveheart. Like, Braveheart, mechanically speaking, are not the strongest team. And I don't think it's mean to say that. I think that's just true. Matter of fact, that they have not shown that they are, Ferrari level of playmaking here in China. So what I really like that they're doing instead is overwhelming their opponent with a superior strategy. Centaur, Warrunner, and Ancient Apparition are 2 of my top winners for the patch, just because there's so much more healing in the game now, and with all the items that we got to see, and Ancient Apparition is a great counter to that. He's actually the only counter to that. And then the Centaur Warrunner Acceptor is a great item, natural progression for him, and it's insanely powerful, the upgrade that is. So I really feel like these 2 heroes in an opener is just brilliant. I actually think that we're going to see drafts just like this a lot more in the future. So keep your eyes peeled for that possibility, but Centaur Ancient Apparition, I think, is a very strong way to start things off here in 6.84, and we'll see what they run it out with. Bristleback, not too shabby. Some good potential with him. Obviously, just very active in the early laning stage now, but we'll see what else they have in store for us. Overall, I think this is pretty strong. I mean, Bristleback with the Stampede gets that extra mitigation when the Acceptor comes out from Centaur, and then obviously he's just going to stay on his target and right-click them down while quill spraying all the while. Really strong. Good core versus Lina, because obviously she focuses on pure damage nuke, and he can turn his back and mitigate a significant percentage of that. So yeah, overall, I really like this opener for Braveheart, and I definitely, just with 3 picks alone, I think they have a bit of an advantage here. But CDEC, they are going to be able to pick up. They're at 3rd here. They were first picked. They first picked the Spirit Breaker, which is fine. Spirit Breaker is pretty solid, and in this case, actually, really good against these 3 heroes. Spirit Breaker, Charge of Darkness, is not countered by Hoof Stomp, because it just takes, like, the greater bash radius is pretty much equal to the Hoof Stomp radius. And then, obviously, not Cold Feet. There's too much delay on it. He'll just charge right through. And then the Bristleback, he doesn't even have a stun. So you really can't cancel that charge with these 3 heroes. And I assume they're going to follow up these picks with something like a Lion or a Shadow Shaman, something like that, where they can just get that instant stun, instant hex, whatever you need, to lock down the Spirit Breaker and stop him from running all over your heroes, all over your backline in particular. Because otherwise, Spirit Breaker can just charge through wherever he wants. He'll hit everybody in his path and go onto a specific target. Night Stalker works too. The Void is quick cast, and it is going to be a mini stun that cancels that charge out. It's also really good against Lina and Zeus, because he's going to be able to fight at night, get some good silences on the casters, and they're going to have to use defensively, which is generally the opposite of their intentions. So I think that's a good of a pick as any, and we've seen them kind of go for some very active duo supports here.
Ten seconds remaining.
And for those that are, not as interested in this matchup, saying, okay, well, these teams aren't tier 1 style, we've got Vici Gaming coming up next. So even if you're not completely into it, I would stick around, because, man, we're going to have some fun times ahead. We've got a lot of Dota to cover, and this is just the beginning here. I'll go ahead and switch up the stream title, too, just so everybody knows what they're tuning into. Real quick here. And Shadow Shaman does actually get banned out by Braveheart, so they were worried about that a little bit here. But I would actually be worried about a Blink Initiator in this case, because right now, the way I look at it, Spirit Breaker is going to be a great way for Lifestealer to infest into the fights, but he's not going to be the only way. They don't want to just have one hero that can infest bomb in. They want to have multiple that can carry the Lifestealer into the fight, so that they have different options and different avenues of attack is, I guess, the best way to put it. Essentially,
Radiant
if Lifestealer's only person to carry him into the fight is the Spirit Breaker, you're just constantly going to assume that Spirit Breaker is a two-man gank squad. If you have like a Queen of Pain or something jumping around, obviously that was banned, it's just an example, then you have somebody that might be carrying Lifestealer. You keep the enemy guessing. You keep them uncertain about what is possibly lurking in the shadows. So I think that's pretty important, is to kind of have that flexibility, have that surprise factor.
10 seconds.
Bristleback's nice against strength heroes, so Centaur, Bristleback, and Night Stalker, they've got a lot of
5
HP, a lot of
seconds
strength
remaining.
gain, and they're going to be, Lifesteal is going to be able to chew on that pretty well with the Feast. One problem with Lifesteal, though, is he's pretty hard countered by the Stampede. He can't stay on his targets if they have maximum movement speed. He gets kited pretty easily, and then they'll lock him down. The Lifesteal aspects of his hero are not going to be coming into play against AA's Ice Blast, so Ags is going to be a pretty high priority for Ancient Apparition, and that means that either the Night Stalker is going to be underfarmed, or they're going to pick up another support hero, or at least an item-independent one. So we'll see what is going to be coming up for Braveheart here. They're not going to be picking up a Vengeful Spirit, but could be just about anything here. Night Stalker, if he's like a solo mid, then they could be looking for a item-independent support, and the Lion would probably be the best one in the pool right here. But it's not the easiest call. It's not the easiest decision. I like Shadow Demon too. Shadow Demon is actually really good against Lifestealer, decent against Spirit Breaker. They go for a core though. They don't go for the support route. They go for the Invoker. And Invoker, he got his intelligence buffed. He got his Sunstrike cooldown reduced. The Centaur Stomp Sunstrike seems to be kind of the go-to here. You go for Ice Blast, Centaur Stomp Sunstrike, and you guarantee kills every single time. So I think that's going to be pretty strong. In general, Invoker is really good at controlling specific heroes, either through Tornado EMP against casters, or later on the Deafening Blast versus the right clickers. Obviously, Lifesteal is a pretty good answer to the Invoker, but we already talked about that Stampede. It should allow him to get some distance. So we'll see how he fares in the mid lane. That's going to be a little bit of a difficult matchup here. Invoker versus Lina is a real possibility here, and it's not the easiest matchup for him. But if it's just Invoker versus Zeus, which is now what it's kind of looking like to me with the Tide pickup, yeah, Shiki Zeus versus 86 on the Invoker, I think that that's just going to be a farm fest for both sides. Zeus will get his last hits, Invoker will get his last hits. There won't be many kills, there won't be many denies, unless supports start rotating towards that mid. So this should be pretty interesting. Garter running on the Spirit Breaker means that support Spirit Breaker is going to be coming into play here, and I mean, that's fine, because Q's going to be able to zone up the Centaur. Lina's going to be able to do pretty well against him up top. So Garter's main job is going to be to gank the Invoker to give Zeus a better time, as far as I can tell. I mean, he might be able to kind of go bottom lane and counter jungle a little bit too. Go Tide, Spirit Breaker duo off lane and put some pressure out that way.
Prepare for battle.
But let's go ahead and go through some introductions, just for those that are less familiar with these teams. They are kind of newer kids on the block, less of a following, but still very talented. And there's another new Immortal, so we'll see. I don't know if there's any animation changes. It looks like Charge of Darkness has changed, because the icon's different here. So I have not seen these new Immortals. I don't know what they do. I think I looked at a quick clip of Sand Kings, and I thought the Burrow Strike looked pretty neat. We saw the Magnus one earlier, and I guess we'll be seeing the Spirit Breaker one now, fresh from the compendium. Yours for only $9.99, or whatever $10 is in your currency. But yeah, that's just for the International 5, and looking forward to see how big that prize pool gets. Anyways, introductions. As I was saying, Aggressive is going to be the safe lane farmer for CDEC. Going to be farming on the Lifestealer. It's going to be Shiki on the mid Zeus, Null Tally start. Interesting. Usually you see a Bottle Stir from the Zeus, so I kind of find it interesting that Shiki goes for the Null Talisman as if he's going to be right-clicking. It does help him a decent bit here. 9 more damage, but yeah, I mean, and of course he gets more mana for spells, but it is pretty interesting in my mind that they give him the Null Talisman instead of looking towards Bottle. But we're going to see Q be playing the support Lina. It's going to be Garter blocking the lane. Here's the support Spirit Breaker boots first. And then, of course, XZ is going to be taking that off lane Tide, letting one melee creep through on his block. Looking over the side of Braveheart, we've got the Ancient Apparition supporting in mid. We've got Dog 7 on the off lane. Sorry, sneeze. Bristleback, he's going to be going with the Enchanted Mango early, so he might have an opportunity to man up with that Quill Spray. Bristleback is one of my top 3 heroes for an early Mango, and we'll see what he can do with it. Sure is going to be on the Night Stalker down in the safe lane, dueling out with the Tide a little bit here. Anchor Smash versus Void. They'll trade hits back and forth, but Night Stalker is actually the one with the Stout Shield, so for now, he's going to get the better of this exchange, which is nice. But up top, oh, Dog 7, far too far forward, doing Quill Spray damage, but he's still going to be going down. First Blood going to Aggressive, so yeah, he just gets hit by the charge. Light Strike Array, open wounds, pretty easy kill, honestly, and that's boots already for Aggressive, so Bristleback immediately TPs back up. He is going to get a lot of experience here. There are like 5 creeps that are going to be within his experience radius, but still, that kill definitely wasn't how he intended to start off this game. Anyways, I already talked about 86's Invoker, so that leaves Puerti on the Centaur, and that's about it. He's going to be farming the safe lane, it looks like. Yeah. Safe lane farming Centaur Warrunner. Seen that a couple times. And again, if you can get that Blink, Aghanim's, and BKB up pretty quickly, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. And the bottle will still come out very early for Shiki here. He's 8-1 versus the Invoker's 8-1, and this Invoker is going for Quad's Wex. So up top, actually going to be another Charge of Darkness through. Light Strike Array is being withheld, now sent out to bring down Dog 7 a second time. And at this point, I would say swap lane. Send the Bristleback safe lane, send the Centaur up top, but it looks like he's looking to TP back up top again. We'll see. 3, 2, 1, and to the top lane he goes. We'll see how well that works out for him. In the meantime, in the mid, EMP plus Cold Snap that connect with the Tornado. 86 will get the last hit onto the Zeus and finish up his phase boots. Really nice play there. Aggressive, just manning up and feasting on this Bristleback's HP. He's got magic sticks, so he's perfectly fine to take a few Quill Spray hits, but doesn't want that stack to get above 4, so he might back off the lane for a moment. In the end, though, Dog 7 is now lower a mana than he really wishes to be, and bottom lane is actually where some action is going to be. The Chilling Touch doing some good right-click damage to XZ here, and it's going to drop him down to 130 HP, but nowhere near kill threshold. And Invoker's going to ferry out of Clarity. One issue with the Invoker on the mid lane is since he doesn't go bottled naturally, and he's not going for any Exhort, which gives him intelligence, his spells do take a decent chunk of his mana, and he did cast 3 really good ones there on Shiki for that kill. So, kind of a victory sip from this Clarity here, and he's going to get all of its regen, it looks like. It's not going to be taken off early. So, really nice for him. Where's that Tide gone off to? XZ. Falling all the way back. He's playing it safe. He says, okay, I'm down to 130 HP. I'm going to go back to Fountain. And by default, he's actually doing better than Bristleback just for that reason. Because Bristleback's died twice, and although he's gotten some experience, that doesn't make up for the losses they've incurred. The farm that's gone to the Lifestealer. If we just look at early net worth, you're going to see that although the Invoker is doing great because of that solo kill on the Zeus, in general, CDEC are pretty happy about what they're accomplishing up on this top lane. XC did not choose to stack Ancients despite it being nearly 4 minutes. I find that very curious. That was a perfectly opportune moment where he could go for the Ancient stack and then to the Bounty Rune, but just grabs up the rune for himself and misses that stack. It looks like he's making his way towards the jungle or looking to leech mid. Either way, non-traditional movement here, and it makes sense considering it's nighttime now. The Night Stalker is that much quicker on his feet, and the Void Slow lasts a little bit longer. 4 second slow instead of 2 makes it very difficult for him to hold position on the bottom lane, so he's going to fall back and just look to... Oh no, he's back down bottom. Okay, we'll see. Where is that Spirit Breaker? Charge of Darkness, looking to light up the night and look for a combo here. Bristleback is pretty far forward, but he did get a Sentry Ward out to take out that Dire Observer, so as long as he stays in the Fog of War, they can't charge him, and he might be able to stay in experience range. And XZ ends up stacking his Ancients anyways. So now we're just going to see kind of a passivity right now. Last hits 29 and 13 for the Lifestealer, 29 and 5 for the Invoker. Zeus only doing 22 and 2. Really worried about this Invoker's combo and having to just sip very sporadically from that bottle. Get a few less hits here and there, but overall, I would say Braveheart's lanes are working out pretty well for them with the Invoker. I mean, obviously the Bristleback not intending to feed, but seems like he's been able to chill out a little bit more, stifle that aggression, and although he gets a little bit less from the lane, he's not feeding, so it's a lot better. So really nothing happening. This is just the most quiet night, silent night from Braveheart. Usually you look for that aggression, you look for movement across the map, sure, kind of looking for an opportunity in mid, but since he doesn't find it, it is really just everybody chilling out now. 3 kills in 6 minutes. Now we see the Tornado EMP combo. Cold Snap perfect onto Q. That's what you're looking for, just a quick jump, and it's essentially another solo kill from 86. Like, that was just perfectly done. The EMP first to make sure that it will land after the Tornado connects. The way that Tornado changed made it more difficult to land the EMP unless you precast it, and in this case he's able to do it perfectly and pretty much get the kill solo. So that's what you're looking for on the Invoker, and I mean, he's already shown what he can do. I'm curious if he actually goes for the Orc and Malevolence first as that kind of standard item for your Wex Invoker. Essentially, if he gets that item up quick enough, he can gank anyone, even the Lifestealer. Like, usually look at BKB as a counter to the Orchid, but the thing is, Rage is still a spell, not an item. So you can't actually use Rage to break out of the spell thing that's suppressing your Rage, and that makes it very possible for the Invoker to actually gank with the Orchid Cold Snap EMP. But we're going to see a combo here on Dashiki, far too far forward. They stampede on top with the Void, and they will be able to bring him down. Now Q looking for some return damage. They have this charge coming through, but they cancel it. And I still don't get to see that animation. I'm sure there's special particles, but we're going to see up top the Feast come through from Aggressive. He's got the Magic Wand at full. He's going to go for the Infest play in just a moment. It needs 2 more right clicks, but 1 is all that comes out. And it's not going to be enough to bring down the Bristleback thanks to his Magic Stick on the other side. So, going to be mostly the Zeus going down now. I mean, he's the second death for CDEC here. Obviously, they picked up the Lina in between the 2 kills. Midas comes out for the Invoker for now, wants to pursue that level 25 as quickly as possible. Imba Deafening Blast for the win. And it's going to be Ty taking a lot of hits, or Shiki actually going down bottom. Wow, that was a nice way to use the Blink Dagger. Just picked up the Blink Dagger on the Centaur, just goes in, Hoof Stomp, dives it up, and they are able to connect with the kill before Zeus does. So, although Zeus does get a 1-for-1 and get some gold, he is unable to get anything as far as experience from that exchange. So, it's very important that they got the kill first, and AA setting it up with the Ice Vortex. Ice Vortex amping the double-edged damage so that it's pretty easy to get that kill. And AA is actually doing really well this game. If you just look at levels right now, like we've got level 4s for a lot of heroes. The Tide, Spirit Breaker, Alina, and Night Stalker. But AA is level 5 and almost a half. And that's actually really good for him. Getting that level 6 is so important, and sometimes there's games where you just can't even seem to find it at all. Like for like 14-15 minutes, you still can't find your level 6, and that means you just can't contribute the way your hero's meant to. But looking back over at net worth, we do see that there is going to be the Invoker as the top dog with this Hand of Midas and this 3-0 KDA. He's earned every one of these kills. He just, every time they come out anywhere into the river, he's punishing them, and it's really just smooth movement from this Invoker. Really good play from him, and I'm enjoying seeing it. We'll see what he progresses towards next after that Midas. Midas is great. It is a really solid item for building up his experience, building up his spells, since he is so level dependent. But what he goes for next is the real question. I mean, he can go for the Orchid for that ganking that I was talking about, because he naturally has an Invis. But he could also be looking for maybe something like a Blink Dagger or Force Staff, a Yules. Yules is still pretty good, honestly, even if he has a Tornado. So it just comes down to what he really wants to spam out there. And I'm also curious if he goes into the jungle and picks up a Centaur with his Midas. He has a couple options there, but he could just kind of Midas from the creep wave and not really worry about experience so much as time. But we're going to hear a charge down bottom. It is going to be a connection onto Sure here. Night Stalker going to be caught out. That's the first infest of the game. So Aggressive, looking to play a very active style, and yeah, he's going to be able to bring down the Night Stalker. So a 4th kill on the board for CDEC. So there's so much activity on the lane here, and he knows that the heroes are right behind Lifestealer. He goes over to the jungle, and he's going to get some money. Eating up the Centaur and jumping up to nearly level 11. Really big jump for him. And he goes for a 3-5-1 build for his orbs here. He's actually going to get charged. Nice Tornado EMP onto 2. Sure coming in. Void onto Lina. She goes down. And the Spirit Breaker has nothing left to offer. Now we see here the Stampede, but who is it on? It's going to be the Ice Blast onto Aggressive, but the Blink Dagger going to mid. They find Shiki with the stop. The Double Edge brings him down. And that is just a great combo of kills for Braveheart. Really getting the feel for this lineup very early. We see Aggressive moving with the phase, the drums going right onto AA. Ice Blast on cooldown for 10 seconds, and the Ice Vortex not helping him get away. One more right click to be delivered, and down goes... No! It's gonna be a creep block! The Radiant Creep blocks him out, and now he's caught with the Ghost Walk slowing him down. He infests, he kills the AA, and then he goes down. Wow, that was wild. That was not how the Lifestealer intended that one to go. But yeah, the phase boots came, he used them early, and they actually expired right when he gets pinned in by that creep. And that turned into a lot messier of an exchange than he intended. Still the AA goes down, but I mean, he's got his level 6, approaching level 7, banking 800 gold, trying to go for Midas. He's having a pretty good game, even with that death. And it is going to be the Orchid build from the Invoker. So let's just look at items overall. It's going to be Hood of Defiance
Invisibility
on the Centaur Warrunner. So, actually, I mean, it could just be the Cloak. Cloak, Glimmer Cape, Hood. There's a lot of ways you can build this, but at least for now, he's got the Cloak. That allows him to mitigate that self-damage of 400 from the Double Edge, and then, of course, also better deal with the Zeus and the Lina. So I do think it'll be long-term a pipe, but you never know. We're going to see Shiki actually caught out here, and 86 finds another kill. We'll probably Midas something from the jungle too. A couple of juicy creeps here, but he doesn't go too deep. He goes back to the lane. And goes for the range creep. So, lesser experience value, more gold efficiency. It looks like he really just wants to rush out that Orchid. So, first prioritizing experience, now prioritizing gold. He's gotten to about level 12, and that's a good spot for him to be in at this point in the game. Like, he's getting almost a level a minute. That's pretty insane.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And now he's only 570 gold away from the Orchid. And at that point, he's going to be just like a full-on gank train. The only person he can't kill is the Tide. Everybody else, if he gets that 1v1, it's an easy pick. Gonna see down bottom the Glyph come through, AA waiting. Only really a one-man Ice Blast presenting itself, but if Lifestealer kind of falls back a little bit, it's going to be a two-man hit. So we're going to see Aggressive, yeah, Delta split away from the Tide, no Ice Blast will be able to connect, and it's going to be just him going for the Rage TP. So they've got to go on these two here. Viscous Nasal Goo is not yet skilled, but the Ice Blast will be whiffing just barely on Q. Still the Blink, the Double Edge, and the kill. Anytime that Stampede is up, they find their opportunities. And Tier 1's probably going to fall down. I mean, yeah, they have the Ravage, a Buckler too, but Ravage and Thunder God's Wrath still will not do enough to these heroes. There's, I mean, Tranquil Cloak onto Puerti. He's got the Blink Dagger, but they put it on cooldown with the Thunder God's Wrath and the Gush. So nice Infest coming out. A Stomp onto 3, though, a Double Edge onto 3, and they'll return some kills. Ravage onto 2, Tornado hitting on the Spirit Breaker, Barathrum falls, and now the AA. Turning it around hard, though, is 86 on the hunt, looking for more blood here. He's going for Aggressive. Open wounds on the Night Stalker, but the lifesteal is insufficient. And that is a triple kill for the Invoker. 86 just doing so much work. Absolutely perfect rotations, hitting with the Tornado as he needs to. They do lose a couple. They do give 2 kills to CDEC, but that's in exchange for their Ravage and 4 lives. So, honestly, still a pretty awesome sequence of events for Braveheart, and suddenly 86 is here with the Cold Snap invoked, the Orchid active in Invis. He can kill anybody but the Tide. If he has enough burst damage. Obviously, if the lifesteal survives just a little bit, he'll Rage TP away, but for the most part, he's going to be silenced and he's going to be killed off. And the Ice Blast coming mid, maybe they can kill the Tide too. Yeah, Blink, Stomp, Double Edge. 86 just contributes a little Tornado, and down he goes, shattering quickly. Orchid on Lina, right-clicking him down. No spells needed. The Soul Burn takes him down. Aggressive will go on to Dog 7 here, but not sure if that's actually the best move since Rage is now expiring, and the Hoof Stomp nearly brings him down, but he mistimes it slightly, mispositions as well, and Aggressive is now safe under his tier 1 tower, at least for the moment. So he's got the Infest back up, the Rage available, but has to watch out for that Orchid. Tornado into Orchid could catch him off guard, and that would be a painful thing to go up against. If the Centaur blinks on top of him, actually, we're going to see that up top here. Tornado, EMP, and going for the Orchid and the Cold Snap. Guard are going to be losing a lot of health, and one more hit is required. The Earnest Shadow's keeping him up, but he's so damn fast with the Wex. 2 more right clicks, though. It looks like he'll fall back. Close call. Centaur. I wonder what Centaur was doing the whole time. He was moving top, but he didn't seem to make the approach, so I think that should have been, if Puerty had positioned himself a little better, I think they could have gotten the kill, because, oh, he didn't TP at all. Okay, so I thought he was TPing top, but looks like he just walked there and it took too long. Anywho, well, what I was saying, the Centaur jumping on the Lifestealer seems unlikely, because when you try to blink and stomp Aggressive, he's just going to rage out. The animation is just long enough that any pro player without any ping delay, oh, nice combo, onto Q, he's dead. But yeah, any pro player with no ping delay should be able to rage dodge a Hoof Stomp. That's not too difficult. It's an easy panic button. So in this situation, you have to kind of open with like Tornado Orchid or something along those lines, or Orchid out of Invis, and then you can guarantee the Hoof Stomp and the kill. They're going to try to go onto the Invoker. At the very least, they're scouting him out. They have Dust Appearance on the Spirit Breaker. A 2v1 play would be nice, but it's kind of a bait here. Dire don't see this, but this is a smoke play, and so although the charge comes out on 86, it's going to be turned around on them very hard, and this is not going to go well for them. Stampede away, Invoker's fine, and now this free caught out. Nice Ravage, hitting onto Dog 7, but still Garter caught out. Ice Blast hitting on the Tide, and now they have to go in full retreat. Tornado almost catches them, but it looks like they'll be able to speed themselves away. No, the Rage Dodge. As I was saying, now Open Wound onto Centaur. He's locked in position. He can't get away. He'll die under tower, and now Shiki is the target of choice. Crippled in fear, and it's going to be the stun combo onto Dog 7. Not doing enough work here. Aggressive gets Orchided. They just go for the Laguna, but it's not getting any kills. It's the Invoker with the alacrity to do all the damage they need. The mech off cooldown in just 8 seconds. He's going to live. Dog 7 will survive, and now they're wiping them out. The only one alive is the Spirit Breaker, who was the first to fall initially. And although he looks mega badass charging through with that darkness, it's not going to be helping their situation here. They only get the Centaur. The Centaur did misplay and try to go for the Blink Stomp on a Lifestealer who had Rage, but other than that, they played that fight perfectly, especially the Invoker. 86 is just carrying this team. He has been able to do so much this game, and you just look at the net worth. Like, the Centaur is like, yeah, I got safe lane farm. I'm the carry, guys, right? He has 5.4k net worth, dwarfed by his buddy Invoker, who has 12.3. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous how farmed this Invoker is. And he just buys a BKB straight up. Just straight up buys a BKB. Because why not? We're going to see the combo come out. Orchid, Cold Snap. He doesn't really need much else, but he'll pop the MP for good measure and TP away. Cool guys don't look at their electromagnetic explosions. They just close their eyes and they TP away. Man, that was just... This is just so good for Braveheart. The way this Invoker's been playing is just magnificent. He's treating this like a pub game, and it's working all that the better for their team. Guardian Greaves actually coming out for Bristleback, and this is awesome. I was talking about in last game for RTK's Bristleback. He went for Mechanism, and I wasn't sure the best way to put that. Bristleback rarely has the mana in the early game to support Mechanism. If you look at it, his intelligence, his gain is 2.8. It's not bad, but his base is really low, and that's an issue. But I'll talk about that in a second. We see Kaldir. Yeah, he's pretty much dead. So, we're gonna get some TPs, gonna get some rotation. Centaur wants to try to punish it. They committed the Nether Strike and the Laguna Blade, but they won't go back the other way. And Invoker just pushes the mid lane. So anyways, Guardian Greaves. The really cool thing about this item is not only does it combine together the Arcade Boots and the Mechanism, but it gives two things that the items independently don't. This item doesn't cost mana. which means that the mechanism is that 250 mana cost essentially is erased, and he can use it just every 45 seconds without cost, and in fact gains mana when he does. So instead of taking mana 250, it gives him 160. So, Lena, gone, easy. Alacrity OP, but yeah. But not only does it, so it's very mana efficient. It gives him mana instead of taking it away. It still gives him the mech heal. And the really cool thing is this passive. It's the last line of the paragraph of text. If an allied hero's health falls below 20%, they receive 15% 15 health regeneration and 15 armor. That's just absolutely ridiculous for this entire team, but specifically for the Bristleback, who loves to stay in the fight for a very long time. That's going to be so good against Lifestealer, who hates low HP, high armor heroes. So, essentially, because the way it works is Feast, it's based on the percentage of their current HP, and it does physical damage. So if you have high armor and low HP, he could do nothing to you. There's no way he finishes you off if you have like 20% of your HP and you have this Guardian's Griefs buff. It is so damn good. At least not until he gets a lot more items. Right now he's rocking around with Sanjin Yasha and Phase and drums. No, he needs Armlet +1. He needs like an Armlet heart in order to kill somebody when they have that Greaves buff.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
A lucky find.
So, gonna look at Lifestealer here. Gonna try to go for a play against him, but looks like they find something better. They go for the Spirit Breaker. It's an easier kill for them, and there's no way the Lifestealer can help him out. So he'll go down. They pop the Stampede, which seems unnecessary, but in the end, it's a very short cooldown. They'll have it in 68, and they get a pretty easy kill on the Spirit Breaker.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Sorry about that, guys. Allergy is just really kicking in this morning, but that's the
Radiant's
sun rising in
bottom tower
springtime.
is falling.
Glorious 7 o'clock in the morning. So, we've got the tier 2 tower going down up top, and that's going to give them nearly a 20,000 gold advantage. They're right now about 18k, or approaching that 20k, and they're about that same level in experience. But the big deal here is just what you're seeing as far as item progression. We see Ancient Apparition has Midas and over half of his Aghanim Scepter. We see the Invoker is about, it just straight up bought an Aghanim Scepter. Just boom. Bought a BKB, used it not even once, and then used it, got an Aghanim Scepter. Like, just, he hasn't even had to use the BKB in the time it takes him to farm a new Ags. Centaur, going to be having his Aghanim Scepter in just 1,000 gold, or even less, closer to 700. That's going to give them that really OP mitigation buff while they're stampeding around. And the Bristleback, now with the Guardian's Griefs, is going to be going back for some HP. Vit booster for now, but could go for just about anything. Hard, Crimson Guard, anything. Could be a casual Vitality booster. You don't know. AC sounds good. And the last pickup I'll mention, is just sounds pretty interesting, is going to be actually a Glimmer Cape on this Night Stalker. We can talk about that later because we're going to watch the hero it's intended to counter fall, just getting trampled underfoot by the Centaur. But yeah, the Glimmer Cape is actually really cool too, because when you use it on somebody, they are taking almost no magic damage. Like, this Zeus can't do anything to a target that has Glimmer on them for 5 seconds. He can detect them, and that's grand, but as far as doing damage, no sir. So, just really good tools to survive through the fights, to keep everybody alive, and to keep on kicking.
Much appreciated.
It costs no mana, it's a 16-second cooldown with a 5-second duration, and it gives them 66% magic resistance. As well as Night Stalker gets a natural 20. So he's up to 40% just by himself, up from 25. And then he gives that to somebody, and they'll get quite a bit. I'll actually check the numbers the next time that he uses it. So, just really, it's a tall order for CDEC to bring this one back. They have got to go for so many items all at once. It's really difficult. We're going to see the Blade Mail come out for Spirit Breaker, but it really doesn't matter all that much. I mean, the amount of damage they put into him is substantial, but
Dire's bottom tower is
Charge of
under
Darkness into the trees, catching Garter in a weak spot. Anyways, yeah, his HP pool right now is 1200. As long as multiple heroes of Braveheart are bringing down the Spirit Breaker, not just one, that damage reflect doesn't mean that all that much. They can Guardian Greaves that right back up. So just spread the damage is the goal for them if the Blade Mail is online for Spirit Breaker, and they can still actually hit him directly. He's going to go for another charge play, but just against creeps. Just charge into farm out what lanes he can, and they might go for an infest play pretty soon. Aggressive needs to heal up just a little bit more. But they might not have much more time on their hands. We're going to see Roshan go down pretty quickly, I believe. Right now, obviously, it was taken care of by the Invoker. They've still got the Aegis, but they're not looking to really do much with that just yet. Aegis reclaimed. Chilling out. This is just kind of life insurance. These are safeguards to protect their advantage so that they can continue to farm the map and continue to build their momentum. Soon enough, though, they're going to be looking to break the base, probably with the next Rose cycle. And in the meantime, Aghanim Scepter allows for 2-second cooldown invokes, just spamming out all the spells you could want. So far, we've seen most of the same spells, but the important new one that he's starting to invoke more frequently now is actually the Deafening Blast. Deafening Blast, very powerful skill. If the rage is on cooldown, it actually disarms him for a really long time with the Wex. You look at the scaling there. Based on the Wex, the disarm duration goes up to 4 seconds. You can take that off with BKB or a rage, but that's all you can do. You have to rage it. And if he orchids the life stealer when he deafens him, then he really just can't do anything. He's sitting there for 4 seconds, completely useless. You can move around, that's about it. Along with that, we're seeing more Forge Spirits. Since he does have 4 points in each, these guys double up, and that means just more slow siege, split push, farming, whatever. And he just gets to spam. Garter, nice blade mail you have there, but 86 has got a BKB. So shrugs it off, brings him down, and spawns some Forge Spirits to keep pushing. Sunstrike now up, scouting things out, and actually, did he just get it? He got the kill Chaos on the Tide with that Sunstrike. Even though it only does 350 damage, he gets the KS, and now they go into the high ground here. Lina gonna be dropped down very quickly here, Laguna or not. Aggressive, however, will be able to do some good damage to Centaur, who gets hit by the lightning bolt. So they're gonna glimmer him away quickly, but the dust is on him, and Aggressive actually just gonna go down. GG is called. XZ didn't even get a chance to use his Ravage there, barely got to use his mech, and it's just a resounding victory from Braveheart here in Game 1. They played, like I said, they just drafted this really smart. Like, 86 was the one who really played this game well. Braveheart as a whole, I would say they played this game pretty good. 86 played out of his effing mind on this Invoker. The Wex plays were just absolutely insane. He ends the game 17-0-4, and he just dominates the map. And their draft was just really strong for this metagame. 6.84, this was really like a draft that really works there. And once you get this critical mass on Invoker, although we don't get to see the shiny AoE Deafening Blast, we just get to see the powerhouse that this hero can be. So the Arsenal Magus wins the game almost single-handedly. The other ones were scarcely worth his notice, if I can talk. But that's going to conclude our 28-minute game here between Braveheart and CDEC. So that's Game 1 in the books between these two teams, and we're going to be looking at Game 2 in just a few minutes. So this is a 2-game series. We'll see if CDEC can even it up to a draw, but obviously Braveheart looking to take this 2-0 and make up some lost wins from earlier in the group stage. In 6.83, they didn't really take many games off their opponents. I think they might have gotten one win in the group stage, but now they're up 1-0 against CDEC, and they're looking for a second one. So we'll see how that pans out here in just a few minutes. Thanks for tuning in once again, guys, to Beyond the Summit. This here is the iLeague Chinese Qualifier Group Stage, and I myself am Blaze. Look me up at twitter.com/blazecasting, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Summit presentation of the iLeague Season 3 Dota 2 Chinese qualifiers. Here in the group stage, we've got Game 2 of a 2-game series. That's CDEC Gaming versus Braveheart. Braveheart putting on a clinic in Game 1 off of the back of some incredible Invoker plays. 86, you have just earned a place in my heart, because that was just absolutely incredible. Really good movement from this Invoker early on. I mean, yes, they kind of walked into it a little bit, but oftentimes you look at a Wex Invoker and you're like, well, yeah, he's got some good utility, but it really doesn't do damage. You don't have to be afraid, but the way he moved, the way he played, the assistance he got from his teammates to put him in a position to win, they did so much work, and that was a really, really impressive set of moves from 86 and for Braveheart as a whole. And we're actually not seeing Invoker banned out just yet. I think it'll be a Phase 2 ban, though. I think CDEC will look to take it out of the picture here for Phase 2. They were looking to counterplay against it if they picked it up early, but since it is going to be Braveheart going for their kind of all-around traditional draft of Centaur and now Bristleback, I'm pretty sure they're going to take it out for their next one, but we'll see. So right now, the initial bans were the Undying and the Batrider, very tough heroes to go up against the 6.84. CDEC just took out Queen of Pain and Spiritbreaker. Frustrating gankers with good abilities that pierce through Magic Immunity, but still, I would say ones that are easier to manage than the Centaur. The Centaur has caused them some real issues last game. The Stampede is so good against Lifestealer, and yet they picked Lifestealer into it. So I guess that was because he was one of the few carries that doesn't get Blink's hoof stumped, and that works out pretty well. Along with that, he was up against like 3 strength heroes, and he wanted to eat their HP pools as quickly as he could. But in the end, I don't know if it was the right call against that Stampede, and man, that Invoker, it just outshines everything. But we're going to see the Ancient Apparition Man and the Phantom Lancer taken out as well. Phantom Lancer looking really good this patch too, but it's not just this patch. Like, he actually didn't get touched at all this patch, other than Power Treads, like, got +1 agility. That's about it. +1 stats on Power Treads is probably the biggest change for him. Like, he isn't that much more powerful. It's just that he was already OP in 6.83, and now that the Sniper, the Troll, that kind of stuff gets nerfed out, he gets his time to shine. But we're going to see the ban coming up from CDEC. It's going to be the Night Stalker and the Brewmaster. Obviously, that support Night Stalker played a pretty good role that last game. And they're afraid of 86 Brew more than they are 86 Invoker. So they're going to put Lina here, perhaps in the mid lane, to match up against the Invoker, see how well she can fare, and see what they can do. But I will mention that CDEC very frequently run Q on the support Lina instead. So it could be Garter Q running Rubik Lina, though Garter generally goes for the tankier supports, just kind of strength supports, and obviously that wouldn't be the duo that you're looking at. So, Vengeful Spirit coming in for Phase 2 here, just amping up that physical damage. They could go for a Shadow Fiend lineup here pretty easily, I think. Go Bristleback, Vengeful Spirit, Shadow Fiend, and suddenly you've got all that negative armor, you've got a lot of physical damage, got a lot of potential to take some objectives.
5 seconds remaining.
But CDEC going to look to answer back here. They know that they're going to be looking at quick jumps, initiation from the opposition. Centaur and Venge are going to be just extending their reach with their ultimates and with the Centaur's Blink and looking for those pickoffs. They need heroes to react with quickly. If they were looking for another support to go with the Rubik, I'd say Earthshaker would be pretty good. But really anybody that can just deal with tough scenarios here. Axe will most likely be the off lane. Rubik, Lina the supports, unless they do give Shiki the Lina for the mid lane. Shiki used to play a lot of Strovan Sniper, so I feel like that might be a weak link here, is that Shiki played a lot of the meta in 6.83, and now that that's all been nerfed down, he doesn't have as many high play potential heroes to go with. He could still go for the Templar Assassin, but no, they're going with something different, and I love it, guys. Ursa is one of the big badasses of 6.84. For those that don't know about his Enrage, I think I can highlight it. If it does... Okay, the box won't show, so I'll do this. Enrage. Ursa goes into a frenzy, multiplying his Furious Web's damage and causing him to take 80% less damage. It removes any existing debuffs, and it multiplies his Furious Web's damage output by 2 to 3 as he skills it up. It lasts 4 seconds, costs no mana, and goes from a cooldown of 50 seconds to 40. This ability can allow you to 4-shot enemy carries. This guy can take somebody down within 2 seconds flat. It is incredible what Ursa can do in this game. Ursa is now kind of a glass cannon that still kind of has to build tanky, but he's still able to do so much as this super agility core hero, and I have actually had some fun with a friend playing Ursa Wisp. I feel like the one big issue for Ursa now is he does get kited, and Centaur is going to be stampeding away, so they might have some difficulty, but if Ursa can find his target and stay on his target, say with the help of the Axe Berserker's Call, people are going to melt. Faces are going to melt. Ursa is going to be chomping at the bit to try to bring somebody down, and wow, I'm actually really excited to see more and more Ursa. I mean, yes, it sucks to be against that hero that is overfarmed and overpowered and just overwhelming you, but I think it's really fun to spectate and obviously fun to play. So we're going to see it here in the hands of Aggressif. I think that's a really good fit for his playstyle. He really likes to get in the thick of things, fight earlier rather than farm, and I think that that's going to work out pretty well for him.
10 seconds remaining. 5
So
seconds
yeah,
remaining.
I am pumped for the Ursa pick. What do they go with it for though? I think
Dire team
they
battle.
could afford to go Lina mid and then go for a Wisp support. Anything with disables, really. You don't necessarily need Wisp to give them the movement speed, attack speed, and durability if all of your enemies are stunned. So anything with good control. Pretty much, Ursa does all the damage you need, so all you want is
10
disables.
seconds
They could go mid Lina and go for an Enigma, for example. That wouldn't be too bad. Not
5
ideal
seconds
against
remaining.
Vengeful Spirit. Sometimes against Witch Doctor it's annoying, but I think they could still make it work.
Reserve time.
CDEC do end up respectfully banning out the Invoker, but I don't know if Braveheart are too brokenhearted. They obviously didn't prioritize it over either of their supports. So while 86 felt pretty good about last game, he doesn't feel the need for the Invoker this time around. Instead, they'll look for something that can better deal with this Ursa. And they thought the Vengeful Spirit Witch Doctor were pretty good options. Well, actually, most of the Witch Doctor was the counter pick. Venge was preemptive. So I think the Witch Doctor will be able to mess with him sufficiently, break
Radiant
down his
team pick.
jumps, get the stuns, get the return damage, and that very well could be the case, but we'll have to see. Maybe having to go Ghost Scepters and stuff like that this game on heroes like Witch Doctor. Puck is going to be the final ban out here. They don't want that control, that Dream Coil. I didn't even think about that, but if you can't run from him with because of the Dream Coil, then yeah, Ursa's going to be able to lay into you pretty well. So they don't actually go for any heroes that keep Ursa alive. That's an important thing. There's nothing to keep Ursa surviving. There's no heals at all on the side of CDEC, but they do have initiation. Axe blinking in, Storm Spirit balling forward, and Lina and Rubik as the supports that follow through with stuns. So some good potential here. I like the Storm Spirit in general. He did get some nerfs. A movement speed reduction of about 5, I believe.
10
I'll double check
seconds
that. And as well, the Ball Lightning doesn't give as much vision, but
5 seconds
let's see,
remaining.
yes, 285 movement speed now, and it's a very
Reserve
drastic
time.
reduction in Ball Lightning vision. So when he's flying across, instead of seeing at 1,000 radius, he only sees within 400. Only sees essentially within that animation plus a tiny bit of space there. So those nerfs aren't the best for him, and things are changing. I mean, the times are changing for items and different int core heroes, but Shiki is a really good Storm Spirit player, so in the end, I think it's going to be a pretty good pickup for him. And they go to the Shadow Fiend I was talking about earlier. I expected that to be their 3rd or 4th pick, probably 4th, but they go for it as their 5th pick. They get the Shadow Fiend, they get the Presence of the Dark Lord, with the Wave of Terror, with the Viscous Nasal Goo. All of this will be enhancing the Quill Sprays, the return damage from Centaur in some cases, but mostly right clicks and Death Ward. Right clicks and Death Ward doing so much damage here. All they have to do is control the Ursa, and I guess it's going to be on the Venge and Witch Doctor to try to do that. Otherwise, they stampede and run for the hills. Which is another reason why the Puck would have been good. The Puck ban from Braveheart was actually really intelligent, because otherwise they would have been caught in the Dream Coil, they wouldn't be able to stampede, and they wouldn't be able to kite this blade-wielding
Prepare for
Ursa.
battle.
And there's another immortal for you. Not socketed just yet, but it is the Swift Claw from the Ursa. And these razor blades are going to be cutting deep, let me tell you guys. But we'll go ahead and go through some introductions. Again, a lot of people don't know these teams as well as they should. These guys are awesome, especially the side of CDEC. They've been pulling out some real big stops and taking some great games in recent times for Chinese Dota. And just this last game really pulled I don't know. I would have to say Braveheart whereas I didn't regard them as much. After that last game, you have to show them some respect. At least 86. At the very least, show 86 some respect, because he was just playing that hero so well, the Invoker from last game. That's playing the Shadow Fiend now. Going to be supported by both the Witch Doctor, playing 5 position, and what seems to be kind of a 4 position Venge. At least she's starting that way. Maybe she'll get boots, and then only buy support items for now, but they prioritize mobility on her. So Shure is going to be running on that Venge. Huerti, once again on the safe lane Centaur. That leaves Dog 7 to the off lane Bristleback, again with his Mango. And Bounty Rune for 86, whereas Shiki is going to be looking for his up top. Shiki's going to be going for Tangos. And 86 will as well, actually. Oh, XZ trying to snipe it. Goes for the call. He should be able to get the bounty rune. Times it well, but Shadow Fiend still gets the bounty rune. And now is triple raising him with the magic missile stun. Uphill miss, but the first blood. And that is actually really bad for CDEC. They almost got the bounty rune. But not only did they fail to do that, but XZ fails to get away alive, giving first blood to Shadow Fiend. So he starts off. I was going to say he was going to get some tangos with the 100 gold extra he got. Shiki gets that healing salve, but Bottle is only 200 gold away. That's actually such a tough start for Shiki here in the mid. XZ is the Axe, who did end up feeding first blood there. Aggressive is the Ursa. Q on the Rubik. And Lena's actually going to be played by Garter here, so we'll see what he can do. If there's any chance he can help Shiki in this laning configuration. We're looking for the Corey snipe. They know that the SF just got a ton of farm, so although he started with a Wraith Band, we're going to see Garter just camping things out for a while here and looking for that courier. Has about a minute to wait before that courier makes its move, but still, it would be huge if they could keep that Bottle away from the SF. And it almost seems like they have to get this courier in order to bring this mid lane back, but we'll see. For now, Aggressive is up on the top lane, up against the Bristleback. This is weird to see the carry up here, but since they are going for kind of a pseudo-aggressive tri-lane, it makes a bit of sense. Sure, moving around with his boots, blocking the creep wave back, but in the end, still not going to get a courier snipe, and they're going to move back where they can't actually scout it. So they're going to look for a kill instead, trying to say, okay, well, if not one, then just get the other. Can they teleport some down the river is what they need to do, but they're just too slow. 290 movement speed on the Rubik versus 305 on the SF. He's able to just do too much here. And we'll get... He's actually doing pretty bad on last hits. I will say that although he got the first blood start, he didn't get Necromastery until level 2. So what that ends up meaning is that now he's got 4 last hits, but he's only got 3 stacks of Necromastery, and his last hit damage is pretty weak. Right now, Shiki has 66, plus potentially Overload for offensive CS. And right now, Shadow Fiend only has 51 plus 3, and then whatever he gets from Necromastery. Down bottom, another death of XZ. That was just a good combo of the... I can't believe it. My brain froze. I didn't want to, cheat and look at the skill name, but use the Paralyzing Cask, and they comboed it up with the Hoof Stomp. I don't know why I blanked on that one, but now we see the lift up onto Dog 7. He's going to be going down quickly. Just getting torn into by this Ursa. The Ursa will fall back, though, and the sap pops out from Dog 7. He's actually going to be turning mangoes to get the kill. Oh no, Rubik, I don't have mana. Don't worry about me. Little old Bristleback chewing on some mangoes. Quill sprays down the Rubik. Oh, boy, that's fun. Gonna see the magic missile attempt, but under the tower, they don't feel comfortable. They won't go for another kill on XZ. But yeah, he just pops his sap, he survives just a little bit, and then Rubik's like, oh yeah, I can keep going. I can get another auto attack or two in. There's no way he'll get mana back instantly. 150. That's not new. But yeah, so Enchanted Mango doing some work there. Bristleback, Mango, new meta. 86 gonna get the double damage rune here. Shiki, I think, got a bounty. Looks like the bounty rune went to the Rubik. Not sure when he got that, but that's okay. And up top, just forcing back Dog 7 once again. He buys himself a new Mango. Gotta get that HP regen back up. I mean, this is double HP regen. That's still, from 1.1 to 2.1. That's a nice little boost. And Shadow Fiend's gonna get a kill. Storm Spirit, a little bit too slow on his feet. Hard to disengage from this lane without his level 6. It's just a movement speed issue. Sorry about the camera issues, guys. I don't know, I'm getting a little distracted. But Rubik is only level 1 here, so him and the Venge are going toe-to-toe. Level 1 supports, but Dog 7, if he gets some body blocks in, that's fine, or he might have to chew on some Mango. The last Quill Spray is not enough. He'll Mango again. Chomp, chomp. There it goes. He gets the last hit on the Rubik and barely gets out alive, actually. So, I think that Mango was unnecessary. All he had to do was body block in the river, just while the Rubik is pathing this way. You just kind of stand in front of him, block him enough that they get the extra right clicks in. And then you don't need that last Quill Spray. But that's only because of the fact that Rubik is so slow, just in general. Still, that's going to be fine. 5 kills in favor of Braveheart. 5-0, in fact. The Ursa lineup is not finding kills, and that's actually a problem. They went for this aggro try, looking for blood on this top lane, and they've gotten absolutely nothing, even against the Bristleback, who's just been able to narrowly escape death multiple times. And Axe is forced to jungle, so that's not good for him either. The bottom lane is completely empty. I mean, this is the safe lane. This is the lane that is safe. This is where you get your farm, but as it is, Axe abandons it, and now just CDEC are falling drastically behind in golden experience, and they're going to continue to do so without getting any of these creeps. Nobody's getting any value out of this bottom lane. So they have to look for a kill, I guess. I mean, if they're not farming lanes, at least they're not farming one of their 3 lanes, then they have to focus on just getting a kill. Ball lightning play against 86 with the backup of the supports seems to be the ideal. They'll move back, but they don't have a smoke on the courier. So approaching against this observer ward, or with this observer ward, really difficult. And the rotation is clear. Dire observer ward scouts it out. They already have... This doesn't even block off camps is the interesting thing. This lets camp spawn, but it's going to give the intel that they need to allow Puerti to make the right decision whether to stay on the lane. Right now, Puerti is at 1960 in terms of current gold, so really wants to build up towards that Blink Dagger and has to play a little safe in order to be confident in that. Ursa up top does have the Enrage, so we'll have to keep an eye on him as he looks for one of those big claw kills. This guy, around like level 7, 8, and 9, he just like hits crazy power spike where if you can close the distance, he can kill just about anything. Raze is connecting onto the Storm Spirit, Shiki being frustrated quite a bit by 86. And 86 has the Invis rune, so it's not like they can go on him unless he's within that radius of that Sentry Ward. Axe is just having such a slow roll. If you compare just the net worth of the Axe or the Centaur, they're both very reliant Blink initiators. And 1430 net worth versus 2790. Like, it's just night and day, the difference here between these two. And it really is these two that run parallel, generally speaking. Centaur and Axe should have about the same Blink timing. But instead, the Centaur is just miles ahead. And it's all due to this laning phase. They got 1 kill on XZ down in the bottom lane. They got 1 on the bottom rune. And the Axe is just petrified to feed any further. So, as a result, Puerti pulls ahead, and he's only 200 gold away from that Blink Dagger. And Shiki just eating more raises as the CS comes through for 86. He's pulling forward on a net worth up to 3,500. He actually gets a 900 net worth advantage. No ultimate skill just yet. And there's the Sentry Ward to mess with him. So, he's going to be fine. Sentry Ward will make sure this Invis isn't really fruitful, but nevertheless, 86 is controlling this lane really well. His last hits have now moved up to 37 and 10, which is just neck and neck with the Storm in terms of last hits. But you'll notice that the SF has 10 more denies. Storm Spirit doesn't have as much incentive to go for denies, as he doesn't build Necromastery off of it, of course. But the big difference here is just denying the experience from that Storm Spirit, getting that second kill for himself in the mid, and then clearing out the stack. This is what separates the men from the boys here. They will be able to build up this Shadow Fiend to his mechanism so very quickly and start pushing together. I mean, once you have the Blink Dagger on the Centaur and then back on the SF, there's nothing to stop you from at least going 4-man Dota down a single lane. Axe dropping pretty low. Looks like a Culling Bladed a creep to finish it off, but in the end he's able to limp back home. And Garter is actually just doing what he can in the jungle as well. Up top, Aggressive, gonna get stomped on. Double Edge coming through shortly. Oh, hits the creeps, not the Ursa, or maybe he enraged it. Either way, they're waiting out the enrage. Now they go Quill Spray and right click. So I'm actually curious if the Centaur got that double edge onto the Ursa and it was just mitigated that heavily. Well, that's a lot of time, but yeah, so double edge hit Ursa for 9 damage, guys. He hit him for 9 damage. Oh, hey, that's an auto attack. Where's the double edge? There it is. 48 damage for a double edge, thanks to that enrage. That's the ultimate we're working with here for this Ursa. For a 4-second period, he turns a damage nuke that starts out at 325 magical and turns it into a 48 damage received. So, expect more of that. But still, he's at a really bad landing phase. The Ursa only at 3,200, barely able to hold net worth versus the Bristleback. They've got to go for something more, and it looks like they're going to go for Roshan. So we'll see. Maybe Shiki and Garter could go for a gank while Aggressive goes into the Roche pit. Or maybe they're just going to sit here and cover him. Nope, they're going to go for the gank. He's going to go for the solo Roche. They're going to kind of cover it up, scout things out, and know when somebody's approaching. But and once this is like down to 2/3 HP, they can just jump onto the Witch Doctor and just distract and create space. So watch these enraged play here. If Aggressive gets a chance, we're just gonna zoom out a lot so that we can watch Alpar. Look, if he pops enrage, he actually just kills Roshan right now. But he'll play it patiently. The Furious Swipe's doing their thing, and in the end, it's gonna be the Aegis picked up by Shiki. So quick ball in to make sure that is secured. For smoke down bottom though, they're gonna be able to jump on the Rubik here. Stampede seems unnecessary, but they'll get the kill one way or another. Well, the Stampede brings SF into a position where he could take down Garter, so maybe just getting a freebie off of that. No stun, no way to respond. 86 gets just to whack him down with a haste rune, actually, so I can't say that the Stampede really helped him either. So the only thing going for CDEC is the fact they were able to sneak Roshan. They got Roche, but they haven't gotten a single kill. And the Aegis is on the Storm, which, albeit, is much better than putting it on the Ursa, but still,
Radiant's bottom tower is under
the Ursa's not going to be able to really go very aggressive. He's just going to have to kind of chill it out.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Let's look at the net worth here. 2,200 in favor of Braveheart, 1,500 experience going the same way. No Vengeance Aura skilled up just yet, though. Kind of going for mostly Wave of Terror, 2-4-0 build.
Has fallen.
So, gonna make the jump here onto the Bristleback. They don't have Blink Dagger though, so they have to pull him into the call, but they will choose his direction, make him faith the lightning, and that is gonna be bringing him low, but he's still alive! He magic sticks up, and they turn it around. Double edge onto the axe. Death Ward, Urn of Shadows onto Garter. Looks like he'll survive, and the ball in. Shiki exhausting all of his mana to get right onto the Witch Doctor, but down goes the good Doctor, and that's going to be a kill for Storm. So, building up their first kill of the game, points on the board, and the crowd goes wild. But now going to see the Mask of Madness on Aggressive, charging in 17% increased movement speed, and the Phase Boots on top, going in, but he needs the Earth Shock, only gets one hit in. Now the mech, now the Magic Missile, now they turn onto Aggressive. He pops in Rage, goes for the TP, but he gets stunned and nuked down nevertheless. So, gonna clean up a ward too. Really good sentry from the Venge there. Obviously she thought the ward was here, but finds it to the south, and that's just really good. Knowing that CDEC are trying to gain kill momentum up top, and they're gonna ward behind the tower to do so. That was actually really good from Sure. Double mech is a problem though, I will say that. Dog 7 Purity, dropping down to the double edge on the creeps, but yeah. The Bristleback was going Mechanism. Might change his tune, but he was going Mechanism, and he probably sees that the SF already went one. So Crimson Guard it is as a fallback. Yeah. I'm totally planning to go Crimson Guard and Pipe of Insight, guys. Don't worry. It was all in the plan. Now, I'm sure he made the mistake, went for his traditional build of Mechanism, and is like, oh wait, we got one of those. What do you mean he's already got one? That's a very bad accent and a Monty Python reference, but some of you guys might be a little young for that one. Anyways, barring that, we've got Yule Scepter coming out on the SF pretty soon, and it is going to be a Crimson Guard pursuit from Dog 7, so they can block some damage. Doesn't block counter helix anymore, just the right clicks, but still. When the enemy Ursa's got a Mask of Madness, he's going to be attacking pretty quick. Anything else interesting here? It doesn't really look like it. We'll see the banked gold on the center at 800 and be curious as to what he's looking for next, but I'm not sure if this is supposed to be read pretty, like pretty, or if it's supposed to be pure T. Either way, it looks like it's going to be a kill attempt onto XZ. Gun again, the right click in, double edge, and whacks him down with the last double damage right click. So good kill there. Aegis is going to be expiring pretty soon. Looking at the timer, he's got 1 minute left on the clock. Let's see what Shiki does with it.
I'm over here.
And now he's got a regen rune, he's got an Aegis, he's got mana, he's got level 11. This should be Shiki finding a kill. Like, with these items, you have to find something. And I think he's going to walk right into the SF, and we'll see how that pans out. Oh, the Yule Scepter up against Shiki could pop the Requiem on him, but he just pops the regen rune and goes off too swiftly with the Ball Lightning. The Remnant catching him, the Yules, he gets him! The Requiem coming across, perfectly timed! Forces the Aegis, wastes the regen, and down goes Shiki. Now again, he was going to lose that Aegis anyways, but still, that is just the intimidation factor at the very least. Very scary stuff. Axe with the Blink Dagger, picking it up in 15 minutes, a little late, but better late than never. He's going to look to make a play with it here on the mid lane. But another Yule's play, 86 going forward. Where's that call? Going to see the Laguna go down onto Shura, bringing him down quickly. They only call the Centaur though, and he's tanky on the front line. Death Ward coming down, killing off the Rubik, chasing down the Storm. He dies to the Malediction, and that's going to wrap it up. 1 for 2. Is the best they can hope for there. Oh, wow. So, that's going to be another good exchange for Braveheart. Looks like the Ursa is just going to keep farming, doing his thing. I'm not sure about the Mask of Madness, though, honestly, on the Ursa. Like, in general, I think it's fine. Obviously, Fierce Swipes isn't a unique attack modifier. Lifesteal is good. And he doesn't have to use the active when he's going to be taking damage. He could use it only when he enrages, for example. But generally speaking, I'm kind of the mindset of Ursa has now become a little bit too squishy as a hero, and essentially he's going full glass cannon. Like, at this point, you might as well like rush an Abyssal Blade. There's no point in going tank items and Mask of Madness. But we'll see. I don't know. I think he's relying a lot on his allies. He'll go BKB, Mask of Madness, and then maybe like an Abyssal or some other lockdown tool, a Scotty or something would be fine. But yeah. I think he's going to be pretty vulnerable when that Enrage is expiring. That's the only thing. Is essentially, I feel like Centaur is going to be able to Stampede during the Enrage, and anybody that's not caught in a Berserker's Call is going to be kiting the Ursa, and then once that Ursa's Enrage expires, then he doesn't really get that mitigation buff. He doesn't survive, and he goes down quick. But you never know. We'll see. It could progress towards something that could get them some real kills, so we'll see. 300 gold from Dog7's Crimson Guard. Gonna be seeing that come out pretty soon.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
5,200 gold in favor of Braveheart right now. But, I mean, we'll see about this next Roche. Maybe CDEC can sneak it again and really make something happen with that Aegis. Current levels, we've got level 7 Rubik. Not the end of the world for him to be only level 7. He'd love to be leveling up a bit more, but honestly, at least he's got his ulti. However, he is going up against level 13 Shadow Fiend, the Requiem at 36 souls. CDEC, they need to punish this SF. They need to cut his Necromastery stacks in half, and if he goes for the Ancients, they're going to be in a position to do it. He tries to go for, if it's a Black Drake spawn, that raise would stack, but since it's not, he's just going to be walking in. They're going to get the call. No, the self-fuels to block out the call. The telekinesis, though. Let's Shadow Fiend get torn apart. No, they're actually going to go for the Stampede and the Nether swap away, and 86 survives with 85 HP. Now, looking at the potential initiation, I think they just kind of waited out. This is a spot where Roche is definitely not up yet. The timer is only going to kick in right now. So they can kind of just play it safe and say, okay, we saved the SF. They use the Nether swap out, they use the Stampede, they save SF's life, but Shiki will find an easy pick onto the Centaur. The Radiant Observer Ward here, giving them intel, and Shiki walking it in. Not in the best spot here now, but he just goes for the ball TP way. The Yule Scepter going to be just out of range. And Dog7 makes his move onto the Ursa, who went for Overpower. Mask of Madness wants the tower and will get it. But now he's hit by the Viscous Nasal Goo, and that'll keep on stacking.
Shock connects onto the Bristleback, but it's only level 1. Doesn't really stop him. He pops the Enrage, but they just use it. That's another way to wait out the Enrage. Nice. And they'll be able to bring him down. So yeah, until he gets the BKB, they can just use the Enrage, and that takes out, well, 2.5 out of the 4 seconds. Really just messes with this Ursa quite a bit. Shiki might look for a tower deny here, from balling across, so you can just kind of zip down the hill, attack in between, look for the flashy play, but otherwise he's just going to look to farm up the enemy jungle because that's a safe play to go for. Roche respawns pretty early here, and it looks like they want to do it. Yeah, with the Ursa down, it's probably smarter to take the Roche while they can, so they don't risk CDEC taking it for themselves, but for now, it's going to be 86 farming up the Ancients, looking for his BKB, and not much else. Gonna see nothing. So, right now they smoke up. Will they go for the Roshan play is the question. Right now, Dire Observer Ward, this isn't the best ward to see everything coming. Like, they're only going to have intel right when they hit here and here. Axe can still blink from this part of the Radiant Jungle. There's a couple of ways to enter into this pit, but it looks like CDEC want none of that. They're going over here, just team farming the Ancients, taking down one set of neutrals while Braveheart take the bigger one. Aegis going to be going to SF most likely, and with that and the BKB, he's going to be pretty monstrous. Bloodstone does finally come out for Shiki, so that's something in his favor. A little bit of momentum there, and I'll give you guys net worth. I'm sure there's some rioting for that. So right now, 10.7k net worth on the Shadow Fiend, nearly 8k on the Storm, and 7,100 on the Centaur. But a fight hasn't broken out in quite some time here, and we're still waiting for the next jump. Until then, we're just seeing kind of a farm fest where they trade off. Ursa and SF are going to get BKBs out of it. Storm gets a Bloodstone, while Centaur gets an Axe, is essentially the end result of all this farming. But Tier 1 top goes down, Tier 1 mid as well, and it looks like they're going to force the issue at this Tier 2. Eula Scepter's not up for the Lina yet, though. She's going to get it here on the Courier, and that's going to give her an opportunity to actually make some plays. So we'll see if she can actually bring anybody down with it. SF's pretty much impossible once he gets that BKB, but there are alternatives for sure.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
For now, though, they take the Tier 2, they back it up. No problem at all, and Shiki kind of does his little split push thing while he has that mobility, as well as these really good observer wards. These wards show the rotation towards that top lane. Shiki knows when he can go for a pickoff, when he's safe to farm. XZ, though, loses his Blink Dagger to the Wave of Terror and has to jump away quick. They're stampeding. I don't know if they're going to really get anything out of this, but they will try. Trying to get in range for the Axe, who's already made his escape. Nice juke, too. He's got the TP scroll, so juking all the way into the trees. They expect him to go for the side chop, but with the scroll in hand, he's fine to go anywhere he wishes, and he wishes to go back to the base. Anything else? Not seeing much. Oh, just really toned down. Like, we saw all this kill action here from the Dire. They were pulling ahead really well at this 11-minute mark, and then you kind of see, like, a tower here, a tower there. No kills. Just Braveheart building themselves up for a really good spot in this game. I mean, once the Bristleback hits 16, he's going to have a lot of offensive potential. And I'm curious if he actually goes for not just the medallion.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Thanks for that. I'm going to go ahead and go offline on Steam. And we'll... Oh, you guys don't see that. That's good. Okay. I'm glad you guys don't see that, but never mind. OBS. Their game source actually doesn't pick up Steam stuff. That's cool. Anyways, back to what I was talking about here. We will see the Medallion of Courage for sure, but I'm curious if he actually upgrades it to this new item here, the Solar Crest. The Solar Crest combines both Evasion with Medallion of Courage, so not only can you take away 10 of somebody's armor instead of just a 7, but you also give them a 30% mischance. You put that on the Ursa, and he's near useless. Now, I'm actually curious if this goes through BKB, because Medallion of Courage goes through BKB. But the 30% mischance, that seems like something that's really powerful to just be completely ignoring a Black King bar. But we'll see. Maybe it's going to be the trick. Maybe that's the Ursa counter right there. And we'll have to see. I know there is another Ursa counter when he doesn't have match community. Silver Edge is actually really good against him because when you go for that first right click out of Invis, it actually breaks the target's passive. It used to be called a mute, now it's called a break. And what it does is it takes Fury Swipes away, as well as reduces his outgoing damage. So if you get a Silver Edge on like the Shadow Fiend, you right click the Ursa once, if he doesn't have BKB, or he's already used his BKB, then he's stuck without Fury Swipes for that duration. It's like 5 or 6 seconds. So that's going to be one answer. We'll see if this Crimson or Valor thingy is another one. Again, still not too familiar with that item in particular. It's one I haven't tried out yet.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Axe going to be looking for an opening here. Gonna get the call onto the thin air, and with the call on cooldown, he'll be swapped back in. They're easy peasy gonna take him down. With the Axe dead, they're going in deep. They're gonna go for a 3-man hoof stomp. Huge play from the Centaur, and no buyback yet from the Axe. It's so delayed. Aggressive now going in with the Enrage. Evaporates the SF, but he's coming back up with the Requiem. They've got to do some more damage with Aggressive. BKB is traded out back and forth, but he goes down in the end. There's Shadow Fiend, the Swagger Fiend. And he pops a raise, so that is not spell stolen by Q. So they force 2 buybacks. They die back on the Axe. The Ursa goes down, and Braveheart walk away. They did lose 4 heroes, including the Aegis, but I still feel that's pretty favorable for them. Even if they give some experience, the fact that the Lina loses so much, the Axe loses so much, it really hurts the economy of CDEC. So we're going to see them pull ahead here, down to the tier 3s, and we do see Shadow Fiend just cleaning some shard golems up.
A lucky find.
Aghanim Scepter up for the Centaur after the Blink Dagger. This is, I think, what build will become a little bit more common in the future. Like, you still can go for Cloak if there's some good magical damage coming out, because you obviously are double-edging yourself. They will get the Magic Missile. I don't think they get Cheeky, though. The ball is still a little bit too far. He's a little tanky with that Bloodstone. But in the mid, this is a little bit different. Dog 7 going to get caught out hard, and Aggressive just goes for some beastly right clicks. Every auto attack proccing the Quill Sprays as he's doing over 250 damage per hit. But you see that Enrage and the Overpower going out, and Aggressive is actually going to just destroy 86 with the help of the call. He's dunked down, but we see the return with the Witch Doctor ticking down the Malediction. He gets a double kill for himself. Centaur Warrunner running around, no HP, but doesn't seem like Shiki's gonna like ball across on that. In fact, he's out of mana, balling away. So yeah, the Ursa gets the man up there and is actually able to get some good kills for himself. Unfortunately, still dying. He doesn't really profit from it. It's his allies that really pull a step ahead after they Bristleback and Shadow Fiend go down. So, great Death Ward, great Malediction coming in from the Witch Doctor. Really good play from him, but this BKB from the Ursa is starting to get toned down a little bit. Down to 8-second duration. And what is he going to be going for? Abyssal, I think? Yeah, Abyssals make sense here. So we're going to be seeing the BKB likely coming out from XZ. Aghanim Scepter for Garter on the Lina. Perhaps a Shiva's Guard on Puerti. Could also go for the Lotus Orb here. That would be really good against Laguna Blade, decent against Culling. They fixed the Spell Steal interaction, so that you can't really echo the Spell Steal. But we're going to see actually jump here onto Sure. They steal the Wade Tear. They kill him off quickly. They pop the BKB and Enraged, though. Oh, wow, aggressive. That seems a bit much. Yeah, he popped Mask of Madness, BKB, and Enrage. He really wanted that kill, and he probably thought there were more people there. That's the only real assumption you can make. But in the end, trading the BKB charge for the Venge that was already dead to rights, it's Braveheart that are okay with that. And in fact, might go and punish Aggressive now. He's on the creep wave. He has no Enrage. He's going to get double edge. But this is a distraction as it's actually 86 that gets hit up by the Lina. They comboed it up against him. Now they're stampeding onto Aggressive. No bounce back on the Paralyzing Cast, but they're still getting good damage from the Death Ward. So Dog 7 will look to pursue, and they connect with another Hoof Stomp. Puerti just manipulating the battlefield really well, controlling the Ursa, Gets 2 health stomps to 1 stampede and locks him in
Dire's
place.
bottom tower
The
has
tower will
fallen.
fall down bottom, but I think Braveheart are pretty happy to once again bring down the Ursa and also to keep SF alive. He dropped really low there, but Lina, even him hitting with the Laguna Blade, it just wasn't enough to bring him down, despite a good jump from him and Storm. And he does go for the solar, solar crest. So we're gonna see this shine effect go and kind of see this new item take effect against the Ursa directly. And of course, you could also just put it on the ally and give them evasion directly. So if you can, whether or not you can use this on a BKB target, you definitely can use it on your ally, and you can kind of make it so that Ursa can't focus on a specific target. So we'll see more from that in the near future. Does it even say like what it? Okay, so it doesn't tell you what it pierces, but if it pierces through magic immunity, that's a really cool item, and for very cheap. It only costs him 3,000, and he's got now 30% miss chance for 7 seconds on the Ursa, as well as -10 armor. It just makes it so easy to work around him. And they get the Death Ward up for the Witch Doctor as well. So really, really good stuff. Aghanim Scepter, Death Ward. I don't think I need to tell you guys how good that is. That's going to be a scary thing to go up against on the side of CDEC. But they're kind of spreading the map, trying to farm themselves up. Aggressive, he needs several thousand net worth to really catch up in this game. It's they're starting to get completely outclassed item-wise, and they just, I mean, as much spreading the map as you want to do, as much economy gain as you're trying to recover, in the end, it's Braveheart to just take Roche and probably look to go high ground right off of that. SF picks up the Aegis. He's got his 7-second BKB, Sanjin Yasha Mechanism. These are all items that you want to use now. You don't want to wait 45 minutes where you have to start selling your Mechanism and selling your Sanjin Yasha and filling that 6-item slot. You pretty much just want to push it in with this kind of build. You don't buy 4,200 gold items just to sell them 15 minutes later. So this is about where 86 is going to be. Is there an AC coming up anytime soon? It doesn't look like it. Maybe QWERTY could buy one. He's still got 2,600 gold. Calm before the storm. We have our big fight coming up pretty soon. Braveheart, they're looking really strong, but still, CDEC are holding in there. I mean, they're keeping the gold disadvantage to a minimum, the experience as well, and they've won a few engagements. I mean, they've gotten 10 kills. The Blink Dagger up in the Rubik gives Q some possibilities here, and he's actually going to be going very far forward just to do some split push. They see everybody up top, they go for the push in mid and bot, and they try to make it so that Braveheart have to eventually go on the defensive. They have to pull somebody back, and in doing that, they kind of buy themselves a little bit more time against that Aegis the Immortal. But for now, it's not going to be Braveheart to back down. They go right on the front line here, and they're ready to go up to the tier 3 tower. They've got the level 2 nether swap in case things get dicey. So Dog 7 and 86 both go up to the high ground here. Shiki not balling for the fountain just yet. He could be kind of zipping back and forth, but his regen is only at 23, so it takes a while when you're in that fountain. And he's got the regen rune, so tries to go for a nice little pick there. Electric Vortex on 86 maybe, but he falls back, and it's back to the stalemate. Slow sieging the high ground. They're taking down over 700 HP off of this tier 3 tower. Glyph not available, actually expended, and they're going to be down for 4.5 minutes. This gives Braveheart a pretty big opening here, as long as XZ doesn't make a gigantic blink call. But we're going to see jump here. Electric Vortex, no swap out just yet. Now the Nether Swap pulls 86 back, but we're actually going to see the Nether Swap stolen back the other way. Crimson Guard coming out. Stampede, not the best Stampede, to be honest with you. And this is a pretty big cooldown now with that Aghanim's effect. I mean, that is a 70% damage reduction, and you're able to run through obstructions, such as cliffs. So the fact that they pop that there, they might actually have to wait not just this creep wave for the next one. Storm jumping in, gonna try to force some more damage onto 86 here. Aggressive, running right in with the BKB active. They're gonna force the Aegis here, for sure. And now they're gonna go for the next one. The Death Ward only hitting on Ursa for now. No bounces, and it's not going to do much. The ultimates are not doing too good for Braveheart, and XZ gets a good taunt. They're actually going to go Blink Stop onto XZ, bring him down quickly, and now Storm on the back line, bringing down the Witch Doctor. But trying to burst down the front line target, that's the Centaur, using up the Bristleback, he's going to be the one to go down to the Fury Swipes if they can't control Aggressive. But there's just too much evasion on the Bristleback, and he's going to be able to survive. In fact, turning it against the Lina, bringing her down, double buyback. Suddenly the fight turns. The Growth Sprays just keep stacking up, and then the Requiem comes out at the same time, and suddenly they're just blown apart. It's a triple buyback. They're doing everything they can here to hold it together on the high ground. Aggressive, popping everything. The Enrage, the Overpower, now looking for the Mask Advantage just to finish him off, but it makes him so squishy, and he just gets clicked down. Shiki on the run, his armor and his attacks broken. Now in retreat, just unable to do anything. It's the shiny Solar Crest that helps them win this out in the end. So that's going to be a very nice movement from Braveheart. They take this game away, and that gives them a 2-0 over CDEC. It seems like every matchup that used to be considered one team having an advantage over the other is flipped topsy-turvy. It really is just the reverse all-kill coming in from the underdogs. And we're seeing that all over the place. From Energy Pacemaker, we're seeing it from Braveheart, and heck, we might be seeing it in our next series. Our next match for today, guys, is going to be Vici Gaming versus Tong Fu. If there's any underdog matchup that would be amazing to see an upset, that would be it. Tong Fu winning out over Vici. But, 6.84 may be crazy, but I still think Vici is an incredible team. So we'll see how well their strats have been prepared over these past 2 days to go into this next match. But for now, let's wrap up Team Braveheart versus CDEC. Great play from the Shadow Fiend, from the Centaur. Some really good movement from him across the map. And I really like the item build from Dog 7. After he dropped the mechanism plans, he was able to fall back on some really good items that were of great value to the team. And they take it away in 34 minutes and a half. So that's going to wrap it up for this series here. 2-0 in favor of Braveheart. They take out CDEC. And we're going to be going into our next match for the day. Scheduled in about 12 minutes time, we're going to be looking at Vici Gaming versus Tong Fu. I don't actually know if Vici Gaming have played a 6.84 match yet. It's very possible, but I'll double check into it. I'll let you guys know at the beginning of that draft what they've been drafting in 6.84, if anything. And we'll be seeing an awesome game on our hands. I think this will be really fun. Seeing Ice on some new heroes, all of Vici Gaming, really. It's just going to be really fun. So please join me for Vici vs. Tong Fu coming up in just a few minutes. Also, if you enjoyed the commentary, look me up on twitter.com/blazecasting. This wasn't the most intense cast. I mean, really, it was kind of a slow roll for Braveheart, but it still was pretty fun. And if you did enjoy it, please let me know or send me some feedback or some constructive criticism if you did not over on @blazecasting. But of course, check out BeyondTheSummit.tv, the coverage hub for all BTS tournaments, and we'll be seeing you guys in about 10 minutes time for Vici Gaming versus Tong Fu. Take care.